After Prime Minister Fico's assassination attempt, the brutal attack has highlighted deep divisions in Slovak society. And with me to talk about Slovakia is Marián Sekerák, political scientist from Ambis College in Prague. Thank you very much for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning.
So Slovakia's interior minister says the country is on the edge of a civil war as political polarization reaches dangerous heights. How dire is the situation in Slovakia when it comes to this polarization?
It seems to me that the words you cited, the words of Minister of Interior, are not apt and aptly describing this current situation. However, it is true that the country is deeply polarized, and I'm afraid that further escalation of the situation can be expected or could be expected, and that the words of especially coalition politicians could split the country even further.
So, how would you describe the situation in your own words? Because as we read in news outlets across, in media and on the internet, one thing that really sticks out is that polarization in Slovakia, that is really bad situation, etc., etc. How would you explain it to our viewers?
Yeah, in my opinion, it is a highly polarized country, and it should be noted that during the last 6 years, we have witnessed several important incidents. Let me start with the year 2018, when a journalist, Jan Kuciak, and his fiancée were murdered. And a few years later, two representatives of the minority LGBTIQ group were murdered too in Bratislava, in the capital city. And now there was an attempt, assassination attempt, targeting at the prime minister. So the situation is extremely serious, and the life in Slovakia is or could be endangered by this extreme violence, which is quite obvious even in the streets of the Slovak cities. And what could be the main task for the current Slovak government is to calm the situation and to ensure the citizens that they shouldn't feel endangered by violence. So this is the more important task, and it is extremely crucial to calm the situation down, especially when we are talking about the coalition politicians or politicians forming the current governmental coalition.
Now, to quote another politician, Tomáš Taraba, Fico's deputy and Slovak's environmental minister, he said that he's accusing the center-left political opposition, saying it had blood on its hands. Now, in your opinion, is it fair to blame opposition for this attack? I mean, what is achieved by blaming, by stirring more chaos in the country, and who is benefiting from this?
Of course, it is unfair, and this is the attempt of one of the ministers of the current government to gain some political capital from the situation. And this is what I and not only me but also other commentators and specialists and experts warn that they shouldn't, the current governmental politicians shouldn't try to gain this kind of political capital from the situation, and they should control their own emotions, because in a democracy it should be allowed, it must be allowed to be openly and critically debated, disagreed with, even criticized, but any disagreement should not be a pretext for violence of any kind. That's not only my opinion, but it's a widely shared opinion, and I hope that the politicians of the current governmental coalition will think about it and will weigh their words in the future.
Now, Peter Pellegrini, the president-elect, called on politician parties to suspend or scale back their campaigns for European elections, which will be held on June 6th to 9th. How was this taken by Slovakia's politicians?
It should be mentioned that it was not only the president-elect, Mr. Pellegrini,
right, also Ms. Čaputová.
Yeah, he together with the current president, Mrs. Chaputova, spoke together or during the press conference and spoke for the for calming the situation in Slovakia, and that was undoubtedly a very good sign towards a wider society. However, it should be also noted that Mr. Pellegrini is still a representative of the current governmental coalition and one of the most important coalition partners within the cabinet. So his words should go even towards his own coalition partners, because some of them are those who try to escalate the situation, as you mentioned on the example of Mr. Taraba. So it seems to me that it is extremely important for Mr. Pellegrini as the president-elect to speak towards his own coalition partners in order to calm the situation as much as possible.
Well, sir, thank you very much for joining me this morning to explain the situation.
Thank you for the invitation.